Imagine packing your bags, telling everyone you're traveling, you've said your goodbyes, you get to the airport, you pass custom, you do all that, only for you to get to the counter and you're told you cannot board. You guys won't believe I'd given this story time like 5 minutes into it before I realized that my mic was not working. Let's double check that. Okay. So hi guys, welcome once again to my channel. Thank you for tuning in today. So as you can already tell from the title of this video, I'm going to be giving you guys the gist of how I was denied boarding at the airport on my way to Canada. Guys, this is one of the most traumatic things that can happen to anyone. Imagine packing your bags, telling everyone you're traveling, you've said your goodbyes, you get to the airport, you pass custom, you do all that, only for you to get to the counter and you're told you cannot board. It is a freaking traumatic experience and I don't wish this on anyone. But after it happened to me, I told a couple of people and they were like, oh yeah, we didn't know. It was da. Oh, it has actually happened to this person. Oh, this person has experienced it, blah blah blah. And I'm like, so this thing actually happens a lot. Why is no one talking about it? Now, I also blame the airline. So the airline I was supposed to fly with was Lufthansa. And I also feel like, in fact, not feel, I know it is a deliberate thing on their end so that they can sell your seats. And then you have to like pay a rebooking fee. It's like a cashing out scheme for them, which is very terrible. Anyways, let me get right into the story. Sometime in September 2022, I decided I was just tired. Like I was tired of Nigeria. I needed a change of environment. I just needed to travel. The last time I traveled outside the country was like 2021, thereabouts. So 2023. Like I was just tired. It was too much Nigeria to take in back to back for like 2 years. Literally 2 years and maybe 2 months since I left the country. So you can imagine how tired I was. Like I just needed a change of environment. Like I was just tired. And I was like, okay, where can I go? And I was like, okay, let me go to Canada. Now, this was very impromptu. And immediately I figured, oh, let me go to Canada. I started checking for flights. Now, obviously, because of the urgency or the way I felt that I even spotted the trip in the first place, it only made sense to book a flight very close. So I was not looking for a flight like 2 months away. I usually booked a flight a week from the day I was checking. To put it in context, if I woke up that day on a Saturday feeling the need to travel, I got a flight for the following Saturday to travel. So I was supposed to book with Air France, and when I went on the website, I saw that if you're traveling to Canada, you have a valid Canadian visa, then you don't need a transit visa. So the layover for Canada, there's no direct flight to Canada. So whatever flight you're booking, there will be a layover. So the layover for Air France was obviously Paris. So their website says if you have a valid visa, then you don't need a transit visa. I'm like, cool, I have a valid visa. So I proceed to booking the flight. Oh, by the way, this is a very important information that I will get to, and the origin of why I was even turned back at the airport in the first place. So I saw that on Air France and I just like held on to it. So naturally, I like to research wherever I'm going to, just do my due diligence before I even fly. So I went further to like check about transit visas and whatnot, just my own way of double checking that I was good to go. So one of those sites I checked, I saw that now please hold on to this information. What the site actually said was, if your layover is in 2 or more Schengen countries, then you will need a Schengen visa. But what I interpreted was, if your layover is in more than 2 Schengen countries, then you need a transit visa. So I just want you to hold on to this and this, what I read and what I interpreted. So I go back to Air France. I was like, okay, cool, I'm good. I'm good to fly, I saw this on Air France, I saw this on the website, my visa is valid, I don't have issues. Then I go back to Air France to finally make the payment. By the time I got there, I was about to pay, I saw that the flight was no longer available. So I was like, okay, what to do? So I decided to check other websites, right? And then I came across Lufthansa. Now, the day I wanted to travel, there was a flight that had 2 layovers, one in Frankfurt and the other in Amsterdam. Yeah, I think so. I think it was Amsterdam. So one in Frankfurt, one in Amsterdam. So 2 layover. Now, let's circle back. Remember I said what I read on, I think it was one of those Schengen websites. What I read was, or what I interpreted was, if your layover is in more than 2, then you need a transit visa. So when I saw 2 layover, I'm like, oh, I'm good. I'm good. My layover is just 2, so it is fine. It's not like I did not see flights with 1 layover, but it was just on different days, and I wanted that particular day, like I just wanted to leave ASAP. Like I was literally ready to go through the 2 layover. So I proceeded to book in the flights. I paid for it, everything. Now, mind you, on Lufthansa, and this is also a public call out because I feel like it is a deliberate thing and it is also a way for them to cash out. And I say this because on Lufthansa, I did not see anything about transit visa. Like they literally did not provide any information on, if you're going to Canada and you are following us, then you need make sure you just the basic things that service providers are supposed to do. Yes, I know that as a traveler, you also have like a responsibility to check if your documents are complete. But they, as an airline, providing you a service, they also have a responsibility to ensure that they do their part in making sure that you have complete papers. Now, remember that the first time I even came across this whole transit visa layover thing was with Air France. So it was on Air France. Once you click the flight, the next thing that you would see is the info icon, that eye thing that says if you're going to Canada, make sure, just basic information. There was nothing like that on Lufthansa. Absolutely nothing. Yes, they have a responsibility to you as their customer to just inform you, at the very least, inform you that this flight you've selected requires a Schengen transit visa or requires a Schengen visa, as the case may be. There was nothing like that. Mind you, in the peak of COVID, every airline you were booking with, or any flight you were booking, there was always that warning thing there that tells you, please check the country you're going to for like their immigration laws and policies, as if they're even allowing you or your country into their own country. So considering how frequent it is that people make this mistake or overlook this requirement, why didn't they take the responsibility to put it on their website if they were not cashing out on people's ignorance? Tell me why. We both know that it is their own way of cashing out, and I mean, if that helps their business, so be it. But in terms of corporate social responsibility, it is a very bad thing. Very bad. It is a very terrible thing on their corporate image, on their corporate reputation. It is bad. It is bad. And if I have my way, I will never fly with Lufthansa to Canada anymore. Obviously, I had to still fly with them to Canada this time because I'd already made my initial booking with them. So if I'm rebooking, it just has to be with them. Otherwise, I vowed never to fly with them again. Like, I don't like when people just, yes, as a flyer, as a customer, do your due diligence, do your research, but haba. After all, I did not go sourcing for the information on Air France. It was there. Once you click on the flight, you will see the info icon there telling you would need, make sure for this layover, make sure you have like a valid visa or whatever it is. It was there on Air France. So why couldn't they do it? Anyways, moving on. So I booked the flights, I do everything, start prepping for my trip. The travel day finally came and I went to the airport as per I'm traveling. For some reason that day, as I was just going, I was just feeling sick in my stomach. I'm like, why am I feeling like this? This is strange. I've never felt this way before when I'm traveling. Like when I think of, oh, I'm traveling, like I'll just have this sunken feeling. At first I thought it was like maybe something. I now like deliberately talk about it again, like I'm traveling, like I felt this sunken feeling in my stomach. I knew something was wrong. And I was telling my friend I was taking me to the airport, I was like, something is wrong. I can't place my hand on it. He was like, check your passport, check your travel documents, make sure you have this and that. I'm like, I have them, but it just feels weird. Like I feel very weird. I was telling him. Anyways, we get to the airport and I pass custom, they check your bag, all those things. Only for me to get to the counter. The girl was like, oh, can I see your passport? Can I see this? Can I see that? I give it to her and she was like, she was just trying to, make small talk, like, oh, when did I apply for the visa? I told her, da. And then she was like, madam, there's a small problem. Oh. I'm like, what is it? She was like, that she's checking through my passport and she cannot see a Schengen visa. I was like, yes, I don't have a Schengen visa. She was like, but you need it. I'm like, why? She was like, because you have 2 layover. I'm like, I don't understand. The information says if your layover is in more than 2 Schengen countries, then you need a Schengen visa. My layover is in just 2. She was like, okay, please go and meet this person. They'll explain better to you. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? I'm like, okay, you know what? I went to meet the person. The guy to explain the same thing. So I was arguing with them like, no, the website says if your layover is in more than 2. My layover is in 2. So what is the issue? Like, I could just not understand it. I just could not, like, I was dragging with them more. They were like, that this one, that one. I said, okay, please call your manager. Let me speak to the guy. They called the manager, repeated the same thing. I'm like, no. Now, mind you, I was not the only one in this situation. There was a family of 4, the husband, wife, and 2 kids. There was another family of 3. There are just many like that. So I was like standing on my right, like, no, blah, 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 blah. You guys are trying to be shady now. After, in the course of this, one man now pulled me aside. He was like, madam, so that they will just allow you fly. Even if it is $100 that you have, just give the manager so they can allow you fly. I'm like, So this one even further confused me, like, wait, is it money you guys are looking for that you're about to deny me boarding? Because it does not make sense. Sorry guys, I just put on the lights. I just realized that my video wasn't too bright and my blinds are closed because the light is not working. I think this is better. I don't even know what I was thinking before. Anyways, the guy was like, oh, if you have like $100 or something, just give it to the guy so that I can let you travel. I'm like, why? I paid full money for this ticket. Why should I be bribing somebody a whole $100 before I'll be allowed to fly? So when the manager now came around again, I now told him, I was like, please, are you expecting some form of payment from us before we can fly? Because this does not make sense. Like at this point, mind you, I was already like all worked up and I was looking at the time, it was close, they were already about to close the counter. I'm like, what's going on? The man was like, no, he's not looking for money. That even if he allows us fly from here, when we get to our next stop, they will deny us boarding, blah, 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 blah. At this point, it still did not make sense to me. We're on this matter, so my flight was supposed to be for 10 p.m. and we're on this matter till like 9:30 thereabout. So at this point, it was obvious that he was not going to allow us fly. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just go to. Oh, how would I forget? So before it got close to like our departure time, I was like, okay, so what exactly am I supposed to do now? He now said, okay, I should go to their ticketing office at the airport that they can reroute my flight. I'm like, okay, no problem. that if that would solve the problem. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, worst case scenario, I'm paying like $100 or $200 extra. Let me just go. I get to the I get to the ticketing office, and I'm talking to the guy, and I'm like, this is the situation. I'd like to reroute my flight to just be shall be one layover, not two. And he goes, oh, okay, that's fine, blah 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 blah. Let me check. He punches whatever, and then it's like, okay, the total bill will be 1.2 million. I'm like, come again? I'm like, please, let's be serious here. Let's be realistic. What do you mean 1.2 million? So I was there with the other family, the family of 4 I told you about it, that we're all in the same situation. So it was like, oh, for you guys, your bill is like 4 point something. I don't remember, but it was like 4 million plus. I was looking at them like, I don't understand. I know how much I paid for this ticket. Are you saying that I'm going to pay the same price to reroute, like just remove one leg, to remove a service I'm not even going to use? Do you understand? Like if I booked just one layover, it was even significantly cheaper. The reason why I just did it was because I was stubborn and I wanted to go on that particular day. So are you now saying that for me not to use a service, I am going to pay 1.2 million? I mean, I understand okay, there's now a glitch. You can't travel with this flight you booked. So let's remove one leg so that we can allow you to fly. Yes, I understand all that economics and all that plus and minus. But it did not make sense. 1.2 million. At the time, that was like $1,200. So it was apparent to me, like, I didn't even think about it, like, is not somebody that has the money that will be thinking, should I just go? No, it was not an option for me at all. It was not. So at this point I knew that, okay, you're not traveling. So for some reason I just decided to call my friend that dropped me, and then fortunately for me, he decided to wait around the airport. So he was sitting around. I'm like, guys, like, I'm not traveling again. No, this one, that one. So the family of 4, I saw them standing, like, talking. I'm like, are they really going to pay for this thing just to travel 4 million plus? I was just standing there looking at them like, people have money in this Nigeria. Like, and people will say there's no money. There's money in this country. Like, when I could not take it anymore, and I went to them because we had like 1 or 2 conversations in the middle of the chaos. When I went to them, I was like, sorry, are you guys seriously considering paying for this? They were like, no, that they were just deliberating, like, okay, blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay. I now felt better within myself, like, okay, it's not just me, because there was no way I was going to pay that 1.2 for what? Is it not my body that was scratching me to travel that led me in this situation? I will now pay I paid almost $1,300 for the original flight. I will now pay another 1,000 to remove one leg, and that's the Amsterdam level. A 45 minutes flight. 1.2 million. No, I was not going to do that. So I went to the counter. I was like, please, I'm not traveling again. At least register it, whatever, that against my name, that it is not a no-show. So that way I can rebook my flight for a later date. Because if the flight departs and they don't do anything, it will register as a no-show and your money is gone. So the guy did that for me. I left the airport. The next morning, I went to their office. The new date now was now a hassle, because I'm like, okay, what date will even be convenient? I had to pack a lot of things, vacations, work, responsibilities, a lot of things now had come to play. And when is the most reasonable in terms of price? It was now February. So I just rebooked the flight like February 1st, and I was like, see as I've used my hand to buy trouble. I was cooking on my own, no, in my house, watching TV. And a thought just came to my head, why don't you go to Canada? Just like that. Just like that. See the plenty wahala it made me go through. Now, thank God, Sha, I am here. I finally traveled. It don't finish for my body. I remember when I was on my way to the airport this time around, I just kept on thinking like, God, hope I'm not forgetting anything. I kept on checking like my itinerary, like, please, is it one layover? Like, obviously, I just kept on checking it, like, let me check my itinerary. Okay, my layover is in Frankfurt. I went to check Frankfurt, this thing again. I thought, okay, if you have a valid Canadian visa, you don't need transit visa. I'm like, So I was just going. I think this time around, I didn't have that sunken feeling. I had the first time, but it was just PTSD. Like, it just kept on like flashing in my head, like, oh God, what if I'm turned back? Like, I didn't even know I was that traumatized until I was now finally coming. So that is it, guys. The moral of this story is, if you're traveling to Canada, there is no direct flight. So make sure that wherever, if you have 2 layover, especially if you're flying with Lufthansa, please make sure that you have a Schengen visa, not a transit visa, because your transit visa will only cover one country, one Schengen country. So if you have layover in 2, make sure you have a valid Schengen visa. So yeah, that is it. Share this video to anyone you know is traveling soon. You might be saving them a couple of dollars, because the amount I used to rebook my flights, I know what it would have done for me if I brought it, to Canada. So share this video to your loved ones, to your friends that you know are traveling to Canada soon, and you might just be saving a soul. Trust me, this thing happens more often than we think. I was so surprised to learn of how many people it has happened to, even people close to me. Like, I didn't get to know about their travel or the issues they faced until it happened to me, and then I told them. They were like, oh yeah, it has happened to me, so I didn't know you were flying with Lufthansa. I would have told you. Anyways, medicine after death. So this is me sharing my story and hoping it will at least help, even if it is one person. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.